Good morning, guys, and welcome to the stream. Today is going to be an amazing day, guys. We just had the FOMC event yesterday. We have the SPY coming back down a little bit today, but overall, that movement yesterday after the FOMC meeting was insane. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning, Jay. I want to let you guys know Mike will not be here over the next couple weeks. He is very busy, of course, and he's working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, obviously for the Discord and for everything like that. So he won't be here for the next couple weeks, but I'll still be here for the live stream. So if you guys like it, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Also, we're looking to change things up a little bit. If you guys want to see anything different during the live streams, just let us know. There's lots of possibilities that we can do here, but overall here so far today, the SPY is not doing too bad, not doing the best though. It's definitely pulling back a little bit, which can be expected. The SPY was up like 3% yesterday, so that was quite a big pop out of that. Some of these growth plays are also coming back down, of course, like DraftKings and other stocks like that. It's definitely a pretty big pullback so far today. I will say a lot of these stocks were up, but we're definitely giving back some of those gains here. My watch list is, I would say probably 20% green, 80% red. I do have a few stocks running today, though. One big stock is Twitter. I will say Twitter has had a lot of momentum this morning, guys. Definitely throw this one on the radar. Man, I'm actually looking at some of the news reports here on Thinkorswim. It says Elon Musk is expected to serve as chief executive of Twitter for a few months after completing the $44 billion takeover. So that sounds awesome. Sounds like he's going to be the CEO there for a little while. So that's definitely going to be awesome. I wonder who's going to take his place, though, if he does end up having someone who does that. It also says he handpicked a group of investors who pitched in more than $7 billion in equity to back the planned takeover. So definitely interesting there. Looks like there's a whole article on CNBC if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, if you guys have any stocks you guys are looking at or anything, definitely let us know in the comments down below. I'll definitely be interested in looking at those. Of course, a lot of these stocks today are pulling back. Like I said, Twitter's holding up, obviously, with the CEO news, but a lot of the growth plays from yesterday, I'm going to the bottom of my watch list right now. So we have Chewy pulling back in a major way today, down 7.7%. It's actually almost down to the opening price of yesterday. So that's definitely a big pullback with them. Teladoc is coming back down in a major way as well. That's obviously never good to see. These type of pullbacks, guys, are like I said at the beginning, they're a little bit expected. I don't think it's anything too crazy yet today. Obviously, we had some huge gains yesterday, so the market usually does give back some of those gains when we see huge pops like that. Even AMD's coming back, Nvidia's pulling back a little bit. And I did want to talk about these two chip stocks here just for a little while, because I will say AMD and Nvidia have been extremely volatile the past few days. So looking at AMD and Nvidia here, it looks like Nvidia is pulling back below $200, which was a huge resistance level over the past few weeks. So honestly, yesterday it was looking great. We popped up above 200. It was looking great in after hours, like we might keep running. Now we opened up this morning. We're gapping down in a pretty big way, and we're definitely pulling back. So pretty crazy to see us falling back below $200. And with AMD, we actually got rejected here right off of $100. So that's also a big level up there. That's a huge resistance. So $100 is going to be a big price point to watch for AMD. I've been kind of waiting for a pullback this morning. AMD's been coming back down a little bit. This is one stock that I would expect to maybe fall back down a little bit more, maybe down to this 95 support or something like that. I could definitely see, some of these plays continuing to just fall over a little bit. We just had so much good momentum yesterday that sometimes you just have to expect small pullbacks like that. But, sometimes the market has a mind of its own. So we'll see what ends up happening later on. But yeah, the SPY's coming back. We have the QQQ also pulling back in a major way, which is definitely not good to see there. As we know, these big tech stocks have been ruling the market lately, and they're really coming back down. So definitely not good to see these big drops. Man, it sucks to see the stocks giving back all these gains. We had such good momentum yesterday, and seemed like investor sentiment was getting pretty high. I feel like people were pretty excited yesterday heading into today, and it looks like, I guess, a lot of that sentiment went away, of course. But I know the FOMC meetings were huge, guys. I don't know if you guys are interested in talking about that at all. Definitely let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in the FOMC event from yesterday. But we can see here on CNBC, they ended up raising rates by 50 basis points, the biggest hike in 2 decades, apparently, according to CNBC. And obviously, they had to do this. The Feds, they go through certain cycles with raising rates and obviously lowering rates and stuff like that, just depending on how the economy is at that given time. And now that we're seeing them raise rates by 50 basis points, it definitely shows that they're trying to combat inflation, which is good. Powell yesterday said we're strongly committed to restoring price stability. So that's definitely good to hear. And he also made some pretty good statements about the overall economy, saying that the economy, the economy is very strong and well positioned to handle tighter monetary policy, he said. And he also says he foresees a soft or softish landing for the economy despite the tightening. So obviously he had some great statements yesterday, and it really helped the market come back to the upside. Yeah, sir, I actually saw your private message. I have that going in the background for you. As soon as I get off the live stream, I will definitely PM you back there. So I'll definitely take care of that for you, sir. But either way, yeah, the SPY's coming back today. Lots of these big growth plays pulling back, and Powell made a big difference yesterday. I know a lot of people were talking about hedging yesterday with the VXX or with UVXY or with different stocks like that, and as we can see, it didn't really go as well as people had thought. Like some people were thinking UVXY might pop from 1550, maybe up to 17 or 18 or maybe even approach $20 or so, but we went directly to the opposite side here. We fell from 1550 down to 1386. That was a pretty big drop to the downside. So definitely keep that in mind there. That's a big drop out of the UVXY. It looks like the VIX itself, the volatility index, is also pulling back in a big way. I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but if you look at the VIX on the daily chart here, and keep in mind when I say VIX, I don't mean VXX or UVXY. I literally mean the VIX index itself, as in the volatility index. So whenever you're looking at VIX, normally whenever VIX pops up and we touch $36 or $35 or $37 or somewhere right around 36, from what I've seen, is definitely a big level here, because whenever the VIX touches 36, that's usually a good dip buying opportunity on the SPY. And as we can see here, you can go back in time, kind of like to the beginning of December of last year, or I should say like the end of last year at December. So we can go look at that really quick and see if that was a good buying opportunity on the SPY. So, you come to December here, you go to the beginning, and you can see how the SPY was kind of dipping down. It would have been a pretty good buying opportunity. SPY ended up going from 450 slowly up to 480 over the next few weeks after the VIX touched 36 right there. So we honestly just touched 36 again on the VIX. Now we're starting to, obviously the market now is starting to go back up a little bit as of yesterday. So we'll have to see if this momentum can continue, because as we can see here, the VIX is starting to come right back down off of that big upper resistance around 36 again. So as of right now, it's kind of playing out that way, but we'll have to see what happens. Obviously, a lot of other market factors make a big difference in this situation as well, but I do feel like that it's important to bring up VIX, because there's been a lot of touches at 35 to 36, and then the market will pop back up over the next few weeks. So that might be a good indicator if you guys are into that or not, but it just depends on your strategy and everything like that. As we can see with the SPY, it definitely had a nice pop up yesterday. We're definitely looking for some nice continuations, but as we know, so far today, it's been extremely volatile, and we're starting to pull back a little bit. So definitely some crazy price action to contend with for the next few days, that's for sure. But let's see. So we have S saying, was that post-Powell market reaction usual for each FOMC meeting? Whether it is negative or positive, it is usual to see a big move in either direction post-Powell FOMC meeting. Does Powell speak? So yeah, post meeting, Powell does speak. He spoke yesterday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we can see here if we go to the SPY and I go to the 1 minute chart, I'll actually go back to where he started speaking just so we can see. So we can see right here where my cursor is right where pretty much the FOMC rate decision came out. So the rate decision came out at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then as we went on here at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, right where my cursor is now, Powell started speaking. And initially, when all this started happening, the market was kind of selling off. You know, we had a bit of a sell-off happen, and, you know, the market was looking a little bleak there. It was obviously really volatile and was going up and down a lot, but yeah, it was definitely all over. And then we had that big reaction right back to the upside, and I would say you're definitely right, S. I've seen a lot of big moves in either direction when Powell speaks, sometimes to the upside, sometimes to the downside. But what I will say is that over the next few days, a lot of times those reactions change. So just because the market's up, or just because the market was going up yesterday, doesn't mean that's going to keep happening for the next few days. You know, we've definitely seen the market reverse after these FOMC decisions too. So keep that in mind. Although I will say this was a lot of momentum, so maybe the market will hold up this time. It's just it's always hard to tell. You know, there's so many factors right now weighing on the market, whether it's Russia or China or the FOMC event or whatever it is. There's so many different factors, so just keep that in mind. But overall, yeah, there usually is a big move, and he did speak, of course. I have B Square saying General Motors here, or GM. Let's see them. Wow, you know, General Motors did quite well yesterday too. Like after Powell spoke, they were really exploding up there end of day. Looks like Ford was also having that big move. So glad to see that. You know, that's definitely a big stock there, Square. I've been looking at General Motors a lot. You know, they've been making those new Corvettes, and they have those electric Corvettes that are in the works too. What I also like about General Motors is they have that deal going on with Blink, or Blink Charging, where Blink Charging is going to supply some GM dealerships some of their charging stations and equipment and stuff like that. So that's good for Blink. But yeah, so far today, GM's been pretty good. It did dip down a little bit in pre-market, but ever since market open, it's actually had some pretty nice price action. So glad to see it coming up like this. I will say though, Square, it's not my favorite setup. I don't think it's too bullish or anything like that, but overall, pretty good candles, you know, given what we've seen out of the rest of the market. Raymond has some bears here. Yeah, I guess he's your bears today, Raymond. I know I wouldn't be surprised if you were. You know, the SPY definitely looks like it's pulling back to me. You know, it's definitely not the best price action so far out of the SPY and out of some of these major indices. So I could see it pulling back a little bit, but yeah, this is definitely some crazy price action here. Yeah. Yeah, let's go see Twitter again. Mike says Twitter's booming here. Let's see. So yeah, Twitter really is booming. You know, it was at $50 in pre-market, and I'm really happy to see it continuing here. Broke out. Let's actually keep this one on the chart for a minute here, because this is some awesome price action. Love that breakout up above $50.75. That's it's actually looking pretty good today, and it looks like we might be continuing. Let's see where some nice upper resistance levels might be here for Twitter. So yeah, as Twitter rises today, guys, there is some big resistances coming up. So definitely keep these on the radar. Looks like $52 is a huge level for Twitter. We've had a lot of bounces right around 52. So watch that. Ever since we broke 50 today, we've been on a nice uptrend. So I could see us hitting 52. I think that's definitely possible. That news with Elon Musk this morning was huge. You know, obviously, anytime you talk about Elon Musk and Twitter, or Elon Musk and anything, it seems like nowadays, he just makes everything like get super volatile / go up in the shorter term. So it's really cool to see that he's going to act as their interim CEO. You know, he's not expected to be the CEO forever, but that's awesome in the shorter term that he's going to act as that. I wonder like what he's going to do as far as Twitter goes. You know, there's so many possibilities that he could do as you know, kind of like he could, for example, as CEO, he can direct so many different things, as in free speech things. Obviously, they have a lot of stuff going on right now with censorship and different things like that. So that's going to be huge for him to tackle that in the beginning, while he's the CEO. Obviously once they put in their whatever CEO, the board votes in, then I think, obviously Elon won't have as big of an influence, but he'll still obviously influence it, of course. It's just while he's the interim CEO, I feel like he's gonna really get stuff done. As we know, Elon is a bit of an outlier when it comes to most of these CEOs. Like, he really does usually what he says. I know that he has said some crazy stuff in the past, but he talks about going to Mars on rockets, and what does he do? He builds rockets. What he talks about making the world a cleaner place. What does he do? He makes an electric car company. So the guy definitely does what he usually sets his mind to, and it seems like right now he is really doing this for Twitter here. But yeah, the price action's great. Moving very, very well here. Yeah, like Stocked Up, or Mike said here in the chat. He said Elon Musk is expected to serve as their temporary CEO. So yeah, that was the big news this morning. Let's see. We have Jay saying, "This is Tom. Mike is out." yeah, Mike's out right now for the next couple weeks. He will be coming back though. It's just obviously for the next 2 weeks. Mike's a really busy guy. He's always working on stuff in the background for the Discord, whether it's coding different bots or updating code or working on different stuff for the website or what have you. He's always working, and he needs the next couple weeks to kind of get some stuff done. We obviously are always updating things and trying to obviously come out with new products and stuff like that. So hopefully that answers your question there, Jay, but he will be back shortly. Herb says, "Good morning, Mike. Will Hunter be joining you anytime while Tom is out?" Well, Herb, this is actually Tom, so believe it or not. So this is Tom here. Mike's not here. I will say it would be cool if Hunter joined, but I know he's pretty busy in the morning sometimes too. But yeah, that would be cool, Herb. Definitely a decent idea there. But yeah, it is Tom here now. Mike is he will be back over the next couple weeks. Like I said, he's been very, very busy. And he's just trying to make things a better place, make things better in the Discord and everything like that. So if you guys aren't in the Discord yet, definitely check that out. I'll have to get you guys a link here in a second if you guys aren't in yet. But overall, the market has had some crazy moves today. Twitter looks like it is starting to slow down a little bit, up here around 51.20. Of course, as soon as we start talking about it, it starts to pull back. I know that's kind of how it goes here in the market, but let's go see that SPY again. Wow, the SPY really pulled back over the past few minutes. We were really consolidating there right around 423. Now we're all the way back down to 422, and we're definitely breaking some of those bigger levels from yesterday. That's definitely not good to see. Too bad we didn't hold up there around 424 or 423. It could have definitely made for some good movement there, but overall, it seems like it's bouncing off 422, which is good, but we'll have to see what can hold. Here, I'm going to throw that link up for the Discord in the chat just in case anyone hasn't seen it yet. Yeah, S says, yeah, we love Mike. Hell yeah, Mike's awesome. He's always the guy. He gets everything done. So awesome for Mike there. Can't wait to have him back too. He's always crucial for stock updates, and man, I know he saved me quite a bit in the past, so that's definitely helpful there. Hunter says, "I'm in Tom's walls." Man, I'm gonna have to go get him, Hunter. I'm gonna have to break these walls down and find you. You're in there like a mouse, that's pretty funny though. Glad to see you guys in the chat. Good morning to everybody too. Glad to see you guys. Raymond, Square, Cersei, S, Vicky, Jorge, Hunter. Glad to see you guys all here this morning. Herb, glad to see you. Hope you guys are having a great morning. I know you're probably not with stocks pulling back. I know it was looking so good heading into today, and now stocks are coming right back to the downside in some major ways. I know Twitter's still holding up, but we have DraftKings moving back down, Square's coming back, even Facebook is starting to pull back down a little bit below 220 even. So that definitely is not a good thing to see today. A lot of price action to the downside, and it's very unfortunate. It seemed like I said, a lot of momentum yesterday, and it's obviously all kind of going away. one big sector over the past couple days has been the oil sector, believe it or not. I will say, guys, crude oil has had a huge move this morning. So if you guys are interested in oil stocks or anything like that, definitely eye up /CL or crude oil because, man, it is going insane today. I mean, look at it. We were at 109. We blasted all the way up now to 111. You can see how big of a move this really is, like as far as an intraday move. So that was definitely a big price point there to break above, given 110. You know, we've been holding up above $100 for a while now with these oil plays, and it seems like some of the oil stocks like Oxy, ZOM, GLD, like a lot of these commodities are really flying up this morning. I know GLD was doing very well in pre-market, started pulling back a little bit, but I know CVX and Oxy are the two oil plays that have been running up this morning. Looks like Oxy is really up there, up 1.8%. They are kind of pulling back though ever since market open, but so far, you know, definitely good movement compared to most of the stocks that we're seeing. But yeah, lots of big events went on yesterday, of course, with Powell and the rate hikes. If you guys want to talk about any certain stocks or anything like that, definitely let me know in the in the comments down below. We have Naga saying, I hope I'm saying that right. N, I'll just call you N for now because that's I don't know how to pronounce that one, but they want to see LI, and you know what? I will say, and LI has been awesome over the past few weeks. It's been really coming back up with some of these China plays, which is great. I will say it's not my favorite setup, but to see it moving well with some of those China plays like BABA and other stocks like that was good to see. I will say, though, it's still consolidating and just going really, really flat. Overall, though, LI Auto is not looking bad. You know, I mean, it's not looking good, but it's definitely not the worst. You know, there's a lot of growth stocks that are down right now, so I can't really hit them too hard for that. Also, they're in the China sector, or they're a China stock, so as we know, BABA and all the other China stocks are down a lot. Well, I guess I wouldn't say a lot worse, but they're definitely down a lot, given BABA, JD, Baidu, Queb, stocks like that. Even DD, of course, with all of their problems are down. So I'm not too upset to see LI falling, and I do feel like LI is holding up pretty well. You know, it's holding up okay. Definitely not the best, but as we can see, there's some big long-term supports like at $20, and then just below that at like $16 to $17. I see another one around there. Keep in mind, you know, it's going to be a risky play with LI. They're in that EV industry, and as we know, these EV stocks have been crazy over the past few years with their valuations and everything. So they, you know, it's a very risky play, but also with high risk comes high reward. So that's definitely a cool thing to see there. Jorge says, please call me Jorge with a Portuguese accent. Hey, I wish I could, Jorge. If I could, you'd have to send me some money or something. You know, that's that would be awesome. You know, if I could speak like that, I'm sure I'd have a lot of ladies too. You know, I see you gave me that little smirk face there. That's definitely what I'd be giving to myself too. You know, I know some of those accents sound really cool, Jorge. So I wish I could roll my R's, but I can't. You know, if I tried to do it on stream, I think Mike would get mad at me, believe it or not. But overall, that's pretty funny there. I wonder how some of these potash plays are doing, believe it or not. I know Mosaic reported earnings a couple days ago, and they're starting to come back up now in a good way. So glad to see that. Definitely some decent movement out of them today. Definitely better than a lot of stocks in the market. Let's see. Hunter says Shop tanked. Let's see that. Shopify. Wow. They looks like they missed on earnings. I didn't even remember that they were reporting this morning, but wow. Yeah, they were expecting they actually came in okay with their EPS. Man, they must have had some bad guidance or something come out. That's definitely a big thing here with that guidance. I know lately with everything going on between the FOMC and China and Russia and everything like that, I know that the guidance has been very important to talk about lately. So we'll have to see what happened there. Maybe I can bring up the earnings report here on the chart. Let's see if I can. Yeah, here we go. We have the CNBC article here. Let's get that. All right, so here we go. So we have Shopify stock down 15% after their earnings miss $2.1 billion, $2.1 billion acquisition of logistics startup. So, wow, that's definitely big. So they had to spend 2.1 billion, it looks like, and they're down 15% after that miss. Like I said, though, it looked like their EPS was okay. So maybe they missed on their revenue here. Let's see. So they posted adjusted earnings of 20 cents per share, while Wall Street had expected 63 cents per share. So that's pretty big there. It looks like Wall Street expected 63 cents. Apparently on CNBC, or I mean on Thinkorswim here, let's see, because it says on CNBC or on Thinkorswim that they were expecting a negative 0.359 estimate on their EPS, but according to CNBC, it says the market was expecting a 63 cent per share positive EPS. So I don't know which one's right or wrong. Obviously, I think this one's right because the stock's down a lot. So they came in well under that expectation there. So sorry, guys, that Thinkorswim had that wrong. But yeah, they definitely came in under that. Their revenue grew 22% year over year, which is always good to see. But it looks like it did fall short of Wall Street's projected 1.24 billion, which is definitely not good. So yeah, overall, that's definitely not good to see. It also says that they expect revenue growth will be lower in the first half of the year. So that's definitely not good there either. Looks like they also cut their guidance slightly. So yeah, definitely not good movement out of Shopify. Good eye there, Hunter, because they're all the way back down to $400 even. And man, I know you're always talking about shorting puts and stuff like that. I feel like this one might be a pretty good opportunity here over the next couple months to short some puts. You know, it's moving pretty low. We're going to have a split coming up on June 28th. So that's going to be a big event as well there. So yeah, might be a pretty good short put opportunity soon. Definitely seems pretty interesting there. We have Mink saying, good morning. Love you guys and love the live stream. Thanks for being here for us. Yeah, no problem, Mink. You know, we'll always keep these going for you. Even if some people can't be here, for example, like Mike today, because he's just so busy helping everybody in Discord and everything, then, you know, of course, someone will be here like me and possibly Hunter in the future and stuff like that. So thank you, Mink, for all the nice comments, and thanks for joining us this morning. You know, glad to have you here. Hunter says W's down a lot too. He goes, that's what they get for sending me a kid when I ordered a shelf. Hunter, that is hilarious. I know Wish or Wayfair always has those funny products on there. I thought it was Wish for a second, but yeah, that's funny. I know that like Wayfair, Wish, all those companies have they sell funny products like that, and that's funny. They sent me a kid. You got me dying over here, but yeah. Hunter also says, I was just looking at some cash secured puts on Shopify. So yeah, that's definitely going to be big on Shopify, even on Wayfair. You know, I feel like that could also be a good opportunity right now. You know, Wayfair is starting to break below that major support at like $73, $74, starting to move towards $70 even. So definitely some big moves here. And yeah, if I was going to eye up some puts, let's see, you know, maybe if we can go back to Shopify really quickly. Yeah, let's see, it's falling down. We're like right around $400. You could get a little bit risky and go with those 400 strikes, but you'll probably get assigned at the rate it's falling down now. Let's see, it seems like in the past there was a lot of big price movement or price action right around $300 even. Man, if we fall from 400 down to 300, I guess I wouldn't be too surprised at this point, Hunter. You know, we're at 1,700 at the high, and now we're down to 400. I guess another 100-point move wouldn't be too bad, you know, given everything we're seeing. We're already down 17% today, so I guess another 25% won't kill us. You know, it's pretty insane to see how low these stocks are going, and it's really bringing up those premiums. So definitely those cash secured puts will be very interesting over the next couple of months for sure. Let's go back to Wayfair a little bit though, because looks like Wayfair is also just breaking below some huge supports too. So definitely crazy movement with them. Yeah, they're really falling off. So crazy to see there. I wonder how bad they did on earnings. Let's see, their EPS came in at negative 1.96 versus a negative 2.588 estimate. So came in a little bit better again, although I will say Thinkorswim lied to us about the Shopify earnings. So maybe it's also wrong about those Wayfair ones, but either way, definitely a big drop today. And I will say so far, more stocks are down on my watch list than up. That's for sure. So looking at my watch list here, I actually have Fastly leading the way to the downside. And man, I know they reported earnings last night too, and they're looking brutal. They're down 15%, all the way down to almost $14 today. This is a big move on earnings, guys. So definitely keep your eyes on Wayfair over the next couple days. This might be another cash secured put or I should say Fastly, not Wayfair. Sorry about that. Keep your eyes on Fastly. I feel like that will be a good cash secured put opportunity as well. As long as you like Fastly, keep in mind Fastly is a straight up growth stock. It might not perform the best compared to others, so keep that in mind. Definitely do your research on these stocks, guys. Don't just buy anything because we talk about it, of course. Definitely do your own research, and it's always important, go back, check those fundamentals, check previous support levels, check how the company's doing monetarily. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of big things to look at, like revenue, how they're doing on their EPS, of course, how they're growing year over year. So lots of big factors there. And as we know, a lot of these growth plays haven't really been doing the best the past couple of years, to say the least. So, so definitely do your own research with those. But we have Herb saying, how about Starbucks and Airbnb? Yeah, Herb, I will say, Starbucks is one of my favorite stocks in the market right now. I will say, don't just buy it because I'm saying it's my favorite, but overall, I love this stock for the longer term. I'm really thinking about grabbing some shares here over the next couple days. I am a little bit upset with myself for not going ahead and grabbing the shares pre-earnings like I really wanted to. Of course, there was some risk with earnings that I didn't want to take, especially with the FOMC and everything too, so I didn't end up grabbing them. But as Starbucks starts to move here, if they consolidate well around $73 to $80, I'll definitely look at grabbing some shares. Like I said, I love their company for the longer term. I feel like that they've done very well over the past few years, like establishing their brand and everything like that. Anytime I go to a Starbucks, I see lines around the building. I know Mike and I were talking about this quite a bit in the past, and they're always packed. Like if you try to go to Starbucks, there's always people there buying stuff and everything like that. So definitely interesting with them. I really like them though, Herb. I will say though, intraday today, they are pulling back. This is expected though, because they've just flown up the past couple days. They pretty much went straight up from 74 up to 83. So to see them pulling back a little bit, like I said, is kind of expected. So don't be too worried over the next couple days. I really think Starbucks is a good longer term hold. I really, really like that one. I also like Airbnb, Herb. It's not my favorite company. It's definitely not as well off as Starbucks in my opinion. But I will say, there's a lot of reopening plays doing well this year. And if you guys don't know what reopening plays are, it's pretty much just plays that did well, or pretty much plays that are doing well now that COVID's going away. So pretty much a lot of stocks did well during COVID, like some of those tech stocks like Zoom, Apple did well, lots of stocks like that. But then some stocks did terribly bad too, like some of the airlines like Delta. You can see how much they sold off. American Airlines, Royal Caribbean, all these stocks took major drops with COVID. Now they're reopening plays because as we start to reopen the economy more, these stocks should start doing better. So I'm kind of hoping Airbnb starts to come up for you, Herb. I definitely think that's a pretty good possibility, that Airbnb could start coming back. It's just over the past few days, they've been kind of falling back off towards this big 140 support. So I will say with Airbnb, it's a tough one to gauge. Actually, let's go look at some of their fundamentals, believe it or not. Let's go see those really fast. So with Airbnb, you can see quarterly here, it's another one of those stocks that do better other quarters compared to some quarters. So as we can see here, during the winter months like Q4 and Q1, they generally don't do the best, but in like Q3, they generally start like upping their revenue quite a bit. So, it looks like same thing for this year. Q4, Q1, the revenue came in pretty close to each other to slightly down even in Q1 compared to Q4. But I do believe as we get back to Q3, we might see another drop. It looks like Q3 of every year is very good for Airbnb. So definitely look at that. I know the second quarter might not be the best here, but as we start to get to that third quarter, definitely eye up Airbnb. That might be when they start running back. But either way, the stocks had great movement today, or great movement on earnings, and now it's giving back some of those gains. I will say I like this one for the longer term too, as long as you buy it at the right price point. And I'm not sure that 146 is the right point for me yet or not. I'll wait a little bit on Airbnb, but I will say I do like their whole concept as a company, and I love what they do with how people can like rent their houses out, and pretty much it's almost like they're using their house as like a condo. They're able to rent their house out on Airbnb, and people can vacation there and everything like that. So definitely interesting. But yeah, good comment, Herb. Those are two great stocks, and if anybody else has any stocks that they want covered, just leave them in the comments below. I'll definitely get right on those. Or if you want to talk about anything in the market like interest rates or banks or anything like that, we could definitely talk about that also. Talking about the banks, let's go see how they're doing today, because I know heading up into the FOMC event yesterday, and then even after the FOMC event, these banks were really flying. It looks like today, though, they're giving back those gains like a lot of stocks are. So many stocks were doing great yesterday, and now they're just falling back down today. Looks like the banks are also in that same type of pattern. They're pulling back. Their BAC's down 2.3%. We have JP Morgan down 1.6%. We have let's see, what else do we have? We have Wells Fargo at $44.50. That's a pretty big intraday support there. I'll say that. Not too bad. Goldman Sachs looking pretty good too, right off of 317.50. That was a bit of an intraday support. I don't think that support's generally the best, but still though, Goldman's pulling back with all those other banks. So big moves out of the banks today, guys. And I will say, like, these banks on a longer term aspect are at great levels. Like Goldman Sachs is at a steep discount, like really steep. It had highs of 426. Now we're at 302. We have JP Morgan, highs of 172.90 all the way down to 118.20. So we're definitely having some big pullbacks. Let's actually see here on JP Morgan, how big of a discount do we have right now on this stock? So if we go from like 172.80 all the way down to like 118, like 20, right around that low, that's like a 30 to 32% pullback out of JP Morgan. That is a big discount, guys, for a big bank. For all my statisticians out there, as we know, 33.3% is like 1/3 of the company. So pretty interesting to see it almost give up 1/3 of its valuation here over the past couple of months. That's a pretty big thing to say, that JP Morgan gave up 1/3 of its market cap. That's a pretty big statement. I know a lot of people, they look at the charts, but they don't really look too much like at the statistics and stuff. But falling down 33.3% is big. That's a big move. Even these other stocks like Facebook, Netflix, you name it, they've also been having huge drops, like obviously even worse than JP Morgan. So pretty insane to see all these stocks falling down here. But as we know, it's going to make for some amazing longer term opportunities here over the next few months. I really do believe that as these stocks fall, like I said, there's going to be some great opportunities. And I do feel like that over the next year to 2 years, we will be recovering from this. It's just, how quick will the recovery be? A lot of people think it'll be like COVID and we'll just go straight back up, where I kind of feel like that this recovery is going to be a lot slower and more drawn out. We'll have to see what happens, but either way, lots of stocks at great longer term opportunities down here. Looks like we have Real asking about Lyft. So let's go see that today. Wow, Lyft is actually doing quite well after their big drop off yesterday. So let's check this one out intraday. So they're coming up. They're up 3.6%. They do look like they have some intraday momentum, which is great. I will say, though, they're running up into some resistance levels. There was some pretty big price action right around $22, and then also above 22, a lot up around 23 as well. So as this stock moves, we are coming up into some big levels. What I do like about Lyft, Real, is that we had this big drop with earnings. We're kind of bouncing off this $20 support. Now, I don't really feel like that we're going to just explode back up today, and I don't think we're going to end up like at 10% or anything. So I don't think that we're going to have too crazy of a move, but so far the recovery looks decent. You know, it bounced right off of $20 even, which is probably a good psychological level for people. And then we're just having good movement back up. So overall, I kind of like this movement reel. I don't think it's too bad, and it might not be a bad play for the next few days if you can find some good day trading opportunities. I will say this isn't my favorite stock for the longer term. Obviously, they've been really falling off, and like I said, for the long term, they're not my favorite. If you can find something to play shorter term, it might be interesting. For me, though, it's probably going to be a no play. You know, it's just a really volatile stock, and it's just not for me. But, you know, I know Lyft has fallen off. I wonder how Uber's doing, because Uber had earnings, looks like yesterday morning, and they've been all over the place too. You know, it looks like on their daily chart, they are also falling off. So definitely not good signs out of Lyft and Uber here. It's definitely not good to see. I will say, Real, I feel like Lyft and Uber should do a little bit better than they are. You know, like I feel like they're those type of businesses like ride sharing, and then obviously you have like Uber Eats and everything like that. I feel like those businesses should do pretty well, but I don't know. You know, we'll have to see how these numbers look from these earnings reports, because as we know, like passengers booked and everything like that, or, you know, like the amount of car rides and the amount of people giving rides and stuff like that obviously plays a big role into these earnings as well. And as we can see, their EPS is down in the negative quite a bit. So wow, they actually came in at negative 3.03, and they were expecting negative 0.26. So looks like it definitely didn't beat on those earnings. It kind of got destroyed, actually. So not good to see with those. All right, so I'm going to go back to my watch list today and see what stocks are moving here. So looks like we still have Twitter, you know, holding up okay, still leading my watch list. Ever since we started talking about it at 51.20, though, it started pulling back. So kind of waiting for that next huge move to the upside. What I do like about this move today is I feel like Twitter, it has to get closer to $54.20. You know, that's the price Elon Musk is buying it out for. So I would think that over the next few days, Twitter has a good chance to slowly move up towards 54.20. Now, this could make for an arbitrage scenario if you guys are into that. So as we know, you know, Warren Buffett has been also getting into his own arbitrage scenario with Activision. So Warren Buffett believes that Activision will be bought out by Microsoft, and they're going to buy him for like $95 a share. And that's pretty high compared to where we're at 79. So what Warren Buffett's doing is he's buying Activision shares down here, and whenever Activision goes up 20% to 95, he'll make 20% whenever, you know, they get bought out for $95. So we have the same opportunity with Activision, of course, and Twitter. You know, Elon Musk is buying Twitter for $54.20. You could buy Twitter right now for $50.87, and you can wait for him to buy it out for $54.20, and you'll get paid $54.20 a share. And that looks like it'll be like a 6 to 7% increase from where we're at right now. So that might be a pretty good trade. You know, it sounds like a pretty easy 6 to 7%. Now, a lot of people contemplate, well, hey, if the deal doesn't go through, then can't this stock tank off? And that's definitely a possibility. You know, that's the risk with arbitrage trades. But, you know, you have to expect that Elon is going to go through with the deal, especially with them talking about him being CEO and everything like that. You would think the deal would go through. And as you can see, we're getting closer and closer towards that $54.20 mark. The one that really has me laughing is Activision, because we're just so far away from 95. I feel like this is a really good arbitrage opportunity if it does happen. Now, what can suck is it might take a while for the deal to finally go through. You know, I don't know what the set dates are for Activision, but as we know, sometimes it takes 2 months, 3 months, sometimes even like a year for some of these acquisitions to go through. So we'll have to see what happens, but overall, you know, pretty good opportunities here if you guys know arbitrage trading in the market. So we have Real saying TAAS is a big question mark for the near future. Let's see. TAAS. I'm actually I'm actually not too sure what you mean there, Real. Can you let me know what that what TAAS is? I'm trying to find the ticker here. I don't see that, but yeah, either way, maybe that has something to do with Lyft. Let's see, LYFT. Let's see. So Lyft here, yeah, I mean, still okay. 2220 down there at the bottom. So far today, still no crazy movement. Yeah, Real says, I'm on that. Activision looks good. Yeah, I will say it does. It's a great opportunity. Warren Buffett's taking the risk here. And you know what I really like about Buffett's position is that he's taking the risk on Activision, but I do think that it's just such a good longer term opportunity anyways, because even if, Activision doesn't do the best, or like let's say the deal doesn't go through and Activision falls down in the short term, then I still feel like that Activision can still go up here over the next few weeks. Like for example, they make a lot of big games like Call of Duty and all these other games like Overwatch and different things like that. I know they're into so many different things nowadays, but they're a huge gaming company. They own Blizzard too, which is huge as well, and they should do well. I think they own StarCraft even and those type of brands. So definitely a big gaming company, and I would think that 95 would be a great level to buy him out for Microsoft. And what I'm really happy about with this whole deal is that even if the deal doesn't go through and the stock tanks, I still feel like Activision will hold up well in the longer term. So I feel like Buffett's pretty big into it. Let's see. Real says Activision will get into blockchain gaming. Wow. Hey, Real. I've never even heard of blockchain gaming, but I'll tell you, it sounds interesting. I don't know what possibilities there can be with that, but hey, I like it. I think that it definitely sounds fun. One thing that I've been looking at, Real, is like gaming betting companies. Like, I've been kind of waiting for like DraftKings and other companies like that to start making it to where like you can bet on like video games. And I know that you can bet on a lot of like esports and stuff like that. But what I'm kind of talking about is if you're playing a game like, let's say, Madden NFL, like let's say you're playing a football video game and you're playing somebody, you could bet $10 against who you're playing and then beat them and win that $10. I think that would be really interesting. So that would obviously be a really good piece of news there. But yeah, hopefully we see more companies, kind of getting into those gaming industries. Like you said, blockchain gaming. I don't know what possibilities there could be with that. Maybe that'll open up the door for more betting opportunities and stuff like that. But okay, so TAAS is transportation as a service. So okay, that makes sense with Uber and Lyft there. So thanks for letting me know that, because I was definitely confused with TAAS for sure. Vicky says, Tom, as far as Shop, the market didn't welcome the news that they will be buying Deliver for $2.4 billion. And yeah, they definitely didn't, Vicky. We saw that on the article this morning. It was definitely a pretty crazy event there. Yeah, they really tumbled off. So looking at Shopify here, Vicky, that was a big move. 487 down to 395 this morning. Like I said, we had that article pulled up earlier with Shopify, and they definitely mentioned Deliver, that acquisition for $2.1 billion. Yeah, the market definitely did not like that. What I also don't like about Shopify, Vicky, is that they cut their guidance. So they said that their revenue growth will be lower in the first half of the year as they navigate tough pandemic era comparisons. So that's definitely a big deal for them. Obviously, that $2.1 billion acquisition doesn't help either, like you mentioned. So they have a lot of different things hurting them today. We were kind of going through this article a little bit earlier. They've also said they've experienced massive macro shifts since the start of the pandemic. The one mainstay has been Shopify is the commerce platform of choice for merchants in any environment with the ability to support commerce on any surface. So while that does sound good, we've been seeing macro shifts since the start of the pandemic, and obviously Shopify hasn't been doing the best. If we look at like that max daily chart, they're almost back down to those COVID levels, believe it or not. So definitely some big moves to the downside there. That's rough to see. Yeah, Shopify really falling off. So not good to see there. Yeah, we have B Square saying SQ on earnings later. Let's check that out. That'll be a very interesting one to see with earnings. Yeah, I know Block or Square is a huge company lately, especially with Jack Dorsey leaving Twitter to focus more on Block. So I feel like this is going to be a big report for Block Square. You know, I really hope it goes well. Block is right around that $100 support. I do feel like that there's a good chance Block can start to pop up off of earnings. It's just we have to see good numbers. You know, like obviously they need to come in with some good revenue numbers, some good year-over-year numbers. And as we know, Square does a lot with those chip readers and also Cash App and different platforms like that. So those are going to be very important things to look at too. They just have so many entities that they deal with that it's hard to gauge. Looking at the technicals though, it's not looking the best heading into earnings with the drop, especially below $100. But as we know, the earnings can make the stock go in any direction. Honestly, Square, with this one, I would say just flip a coin. You know, I'd flip a coin if you want. If you want calls, make calls heads. You know, I'm just joking, but overall, I would say flip a coin. You know, it's really hard to gauge these earnings, and I would recommend not playing Square on earnings. It might do well, but I kind of expect Square, even if they do well, like let's say they report great numbers and they fly up, you know, they might end up pulling back the very next morning or something. You know, we've been seeing these earnings moves come back down in big ways. Let's go check out some of these earnings that have happened over the past couple of weeks here. So we can see like Enphase, you know, initially it was a great earnings move and it did great. And then as soon as the market opened the next day, you know, they give all those gains right back and then start falling back down even lower the next day. So, you know, as we know, the earnings have been all over. I'd recommend not playing them, but hey, it's always cool to look at. You know, I'll take it. They're right around $100, so hopefully it's a good longer-term opportunity rather than short-term. But yeah, no problem there. Definitely good to check that stock out. Mike says, ouch. Yeah, ouch is right, especially when you're looking at Shopify. I mean, wow, they are really down today. Like I said, lots of stocks falling down in major ways today. Shopify down. We have Fastly down 14%. We have Roblox down 10% again, giving back all of the gains from yesterday. Terrible movement to see there. We have Asana coming back. You know, I know Moskovitz has been putting billions of dollars into this stock, and man, it can't move up. It just keeps falling down day by day. And I thought yesterday it was looking great, but we're giving all of those gains back. It just wow, the way that these stocks are pulling back today is really telling, guys. That just goes to show that shorter term price action definitely doesn't justify longer term movements here. So yeah, Snowflake's actually breaking below the low of yesterday. I cannot believe I'm even saying that with Snowflake, because they were moving up in such a great way yesterday, and they're giving it all back and then some. It looks like they might be making new yearly lows actually soon. So rough go with Snow. And wow, yeah, guys, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about these stocks going down. My whole watch list is pretty much red. I know that stocks were looking really good yesterday. Now they're pulling back. It's such a big difference in sentiment compared to where we were at close yesterday. Like, I feel like a lot of people were pretty bullish on the market yesterday, and it sucks to see the price action turn over this hard. I feel like that's just a really bad move out of some of these plays, but you know, that's the market. You know, that's why it's always important to take everything with a grain of salt. And you know, Powell did really good and he helped stocks move yesterday, but you know, maybe Powell was the reason for those moves. You know, he said a lot of I shouldn't say a lot of good things about the market, but he did have a lot of good statements about the economy and everything like that. You know, he said the economy was still looking good overall, and that while the market might pull back, you know, he did mention that, you know, jobs numbers were looking okay, and you know, company investments were looking good and everything like that. So, you know, he did have some good things to say, and as we know, in the past, Powell has made the market move up quite a bit. But I will say, I was someone yesterday who was a little bit skeptical. I did keep saying that, you know, the market has pulled back before, And it looks like that is the case today. We have had pullbacks after Powell has spoken. And I know at the beginning of the stream today, I was definitely hitting on that pretty hard. And, we've been seeing that really happen. The SPY's pulling back down in a major way. We're back below 420 actually. So that's been a pretty big level the past few days. We're actually back down to that big 418 support. So if you guys are playing SPY today, definitely eye up 418. That's been a huge level. And who knows, maybe with us pulling back this hard, we might see a bit of an intraday bounce now off of there, given that that's a big support. But yeah, it's a big level there. Square says bulls got trapped. And yes, they did. I will say that was a huge bull trap yesterday. I think you hit that right on the head, Square. That was a huge bull trap. Good point there. So SPY was really flying up. A lot of people were looking at calls yesterday on SPY, DraftKings, Zoom, Square, I'm sure. All these growth plays were looking great. And now they're coming back. Like you said, a huge bear trap. I know a lot of people in Discord and just my friends in general, they were all talking about these different companies moving up yesterday. And I'm sure a lot of them got trapped, Square. I heard a lot of people in Discord getting calls and different stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm sure that was a big trap there. Vicky says to give all of yesterday's levels back and then some more. It's ridiculous. And yeah, it is ridiculous, Vicky. I can't believe the market is giving back that much gains. But, that just goes to show you the stock market's crazy. It definitely has a mind of its own. And whenever we talk about big events like the FOMC and other stuff like that, it really helps out. It really helps the market, like in the short term. Like Powell was really helping the market yesterday, and it caused a lot of volatility. And as we know, that volatility stays for a few days, and we're kind of seeing that happen today with that volatility. It's coming right back down. So definitely big there. Vicky says, let's show some love to Tom and hit the like, guys. Yeah, if you guys are liking the live stream, hit that like button for sure. It'll definitely help me out, for sure. Overall today, it's been a very interesting morning. Lots of stocks pulling back, which sucks to see. But, I will say, guys, it's going to make some good opportunities. As we've been talking about over the past few months, when stocks come down, it just creates good longer-term opportunities. So as we can see here, lots of stocks are at great levels for the long term, like Facebook, Square, lots of these growth plays, DraftKings, Palantir, Peloton, if you guys like that. I'm not a buyer of Peloton, but I know some people like them. SKLZ is really low. Lucid, Rivian. I know those stocks are a little iffy too, but overall, these stocks are at great levels, and I feel like for the longer term, we still have some awesome opportunities to, pick up some longer term plays. So glad to see that. Thank you though, Vicky, for the nice comments. Definitely glad to see that. Real says, wow, look at that chart. Yeah, definitely. These charts are rough today. I can't believe how low these stocks are going. Like, look at poor Rivian here, down 10% again, almost back to $30. Like, these are some crazy moves going on. Real says, love the blood in the streets. This is how millionaires are made. That's a good point, Real. I will say, more times than not, the biggest drops in market history have brought the most millionaires. Like I know the Great Depression, they say, while a lot of people were getting hurt, a lot of people were also becoming insanely rich. So good point, Real. Keep that in mind. This is how millionaires are made. If you guys are sitting on cash or you're saving up money right now, kudos to you. You have a great opportunity over the next couple years. I'll be honest, I wish I could have started trading whenever Facebook was pulling back, 40, 50%. I wish I could get into Apple, 30% cheaper than I could now. It's just insane to see how much these stocks are coming back and how good the opportunities really are. If you guys are new to trading, like I said, it's going to make for some amazing opportunities here. So keep that in mind. But yeah, so far today, it's getting close to 9:30. Probably going to wrap up the stream here pretty soon. If you guys have any last minute questions or anything like that, definitely let me know in the comments down below. That'll definitely be a cool thing to look at the end. Like I know there's still the Russia situation going on, and I'm sure there's still a lot of stocks that I've missed here Yeah, one big thing we could do is go over maybe some of these earnings really quickly if you guys are interested in that. Let's see here. So, as far as earnings today, let's see. Real says we have Lucid earnings today. Yeah, that's going to be a big one with Lucid, of course. They are huge on my watch list tonight. Let's pull up that earnings chart really quick. So, yeah, tonight we're going to have Square, Fubo, Lucid, Cloudflare, Open Door, Wish, DoorDash, Virgin Galactic or SPCE. And then tomorrow before open, we have DraftKings. So tomorrow before open is going to be my favorite, of course, with DraftKings. But yeah, today is going to be a pretty big day as well. You're definitely right, Real. Lucid's going to be huge tonight. I cannot wait to see how those production numbers go. You know, I know that every time lately that these EV companies report, like Rivian or Lucid or Neo or Li or whatever it is, lately, like, the production numbers have just been brutal. Like, we've been seeing big drops out of the stocks, and they've just been reporting negative numbers. So if they do report good numbers, that can definitely help Lucid, but just take Lucid's earnings with a grain of salt, because, you know, it's going to be a tough one. Those numbers have been really rough over the past few years. Square, I think, could do well in earnings today if they report good numbers. Of course, everything's subjective, and even if they report good current numbers, they might report a bad outlook or something. So it's really hard to gauge, but, you know, lots of big earnings plays tonight if you guys are interested in any of those. DoorDash is a big one. Wish, of course. Even SPCE. You know, SPCE is going to be very interesting to look at. I know this stock has been really falling off the table ever since those initial uptrends for those first couple of years. Like, it was looking pretty good, but yeah, they're going to be reporting tonight. Square, like we talked about Square a lot earlier. Wish too. Wish is going to be a big one. Wish is like a penny stock now. It's only $1.72. Look at their max daily chart. This one's been really brutal. If they report good numbers, who knows? This one could get a good pop, but, you know, I definitely don't recommend playing them on earnings, given $1.80 is their price. That's just so low. But yeah, I appreciate you guys joining the live stream today. It's been a pretty good day, at least as far as stock movement goes. I know it probably hasn't been moving the way people wanted, but, you know, at least there's some momentum. It is to the downside, but, you know, I will say at least there is some momentum in the market. Some stocks are doing good today, like we talked about with Twitter. They're still holding up well with all the Elon Musk news, with him becoming CEO and everything like that. That's obviously a huge thing for Twitter and other stocks that are in, like, the social media industry. I'm sure it's going to also affect Tesla, given that the news is regarding Elon. So definitely eye up Tesla too. Looks like so far today, Tesla's down in a big way. Again, they're giving back all their gains like these growth stocks. So yeah, crazy to see this downwards movement, guys. Thank you guys for joining the live stream today. Obviously, we'll be in Discord if you guys have any continued questions or anything like that. Real says, my SQQQ call is coming back. Gonna roll it soon. Probably a good idea, you know, if the market keeps falling down like this. I'm sure SQQQ will keep popping. So thank you guys for joining the live stream today. Hope the market can recover, but, you know, I'm not too optimistic. We might have to play puts today, but overall, have a great rest of your day.